Welcome to Formosa Dream Chasers.
We're your hosts, Mary Ann
and Ching En.
Please join us as we explore the journeys amazing people take in pursuit of their dreams.
And get insights from their experiences.
Let's hit the road
and get started.
Hello, and welcome to Formosa Dream Chasers. If you are joining me for the show, today we continue with my story on how I came to Taiwan, about the reasons why I left my friends and family in the Philippines, and why I decided to continue to stay in Taiwan and build a career here. We started on my story as part of a New Year special, since it is the start of the new year after all. And as we look forward to 2026 and our resolutions or intentions for this year, it was also a good time to take a look back, reflect for a little bit, and remember some of the lessons learned. I also shared some of the difficulties and challenges I had to face along the way as I navigated building a life here, while adjusting to a new system, a new culture, and of course, a new language. Even when technically I did achieve my goal of living abroad and becoming independent, there were a lot of sacrifices and compromises I had to make along the way. Plans took a lot longer than expected, and dreams had to be put on hold and even shelved at times, since life abroad doesn't always follow the neat timeline you imagined. And so, if I had the chance to talk to my past self and share what I've learned, this is what I'm going to say. First, pause, take a deep breath, and exhale. Now do it again. Take a deep breath and exhale. I would tell myself that you're fine where you are. It may not be what you wanted and where you think you should be, but that's okay. Everything is about learning and growth, and sometimes the path you take isn't going to be straightforward. It's going to be up and down and curve at the most unexpected of times, and sometimes you'll even have to take 2 or 3 steps back. And it won't feel like you're moving forward at all. But please trust me, throughout everything, all of these experiences and lessons are things that you will be able to take with you as you continue your way. Second, I would tell myself that it's important to remember that some seasons will be about building, and others will be about resting. And more importantly, both of this count. It's okay to rest, and it's okay to take a break. You really don't have to prove anything to anyone, and you don't have to prove your worth through productivity. Being busy doesn't always get you ahead, and you know from experience that this only drains you mentally, physically, and emotionally. So please stop and give yourself some breathing room. You don't need to push yourself that hard. I would also tell myself to take pride in how far you've come. You know what you did, leaving home and striving to build a life for yourself in another country at that, isn't easy. You don't need to follow your plans to the letter. And it's okay to outgrow the reasons you first had when you came here. And it's more than okay to change your mind. You're allowed to redefine what making it means again and again and again. And if you feel tired, it doesn't mean that you've given up. And, sometimes feeling stuck is just part of the process. It doesn't mean that you made the wrong choice or that you're a failure. It just means that you're human and then you're not sure of where you're going. And that's okay. Because again, we go back to you're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to decide differently, and you're allowed to just feel the way that you do. It doesn't mean that everything will be perfect or that you will be happy or that everything will be good times. There will always be these moments of confusion, of uncertainty. And that's just part of the journey. Also, please stop measuring yourself to this undefined image of how you should be by a certain time frame. And please stop applying these impossible standards that you feel you need to reach or do. You are where you need to be, and you are fine just the way you are where you are now. Period. So specifically, when I look back, this is me giving myself advice as I was trying to find a job that I liked doing and what I wanted to do for a long period of time. This was the time when I just finished my Chinese language studies and was teaching English because that was one of the job opportunities that was more easily available. And it's not like I didn't like teaching English. I actually enjoyed my time with the kids because I was teaching young children at the time. But rather, this was a period where I really wanted to grow my skills professionally. And I was having such a hard time finding work that suited me because my Mandarin skills weren't as good. And there were very few opportunities where I could only use English aside from teaching. And so I was tremendously frustrated because I had this idea that I should be doing more and that I could be doing more. And I also had this image of the work that I should be doing because I was comparing myself to all the people I knew who were working at professional jobs, and I felt very much stuck and unaccomplished because I couldn't seem to find the same job opportunities for me in Taiwan. And so that's where that advice comes from. But, let's continue, because I also want to say, just because you decided to work on being independent, that doesn't mean that you have to do everything alone. You can ask for help. You can reach out, and you don't need to feel that you are a burden to the people around you. People who care for you will be happy to be there for you because you have always been there for them too. And when you live far away from home, you really need friends. You need your community, your tribe, if you will, to keep you grounded and sane as you navigate through this journey called life. So I repeat, learn to ask. Don't be shy. Ask questions to friends, to people you meet when you're transacting business at the different offices, and ask questions at the government agencies. There are so many different kinds of non-government agencies and government agencies here in Taiwan that you can always get information from. Taiwan has such a great network of these organizations, and people here are friendly and they're very helpful. So you are sure to get the information you are looking for, and sometimes even more than what you need, sooner or later. But you learn to need to ask. I don't know if you have similar people in your life where they're just so stubbornly independent that it's very difficult for them to ask people for help. That advice is, in particular, definitely directed at me because I'm one of those people who don't really like to ask other people for help or ask people questions too much because I always feel that I'm bothering them or I'm taking their time away from other things that they could be doing. And I always try not to be an imposition to others. And so it's a very good reminder for me that number one, asking is probably the quickest way to get answers to any problem or any question that I have. Number two, other people may have a vast sea of knowledge that I can simply tap into. It's a lot easier to ask and get guidance and direction as opposed to trying to do everything by yourself, make mistakes along the way, and then you don't even know if you're going to learn from that mistake. And so that's why that reminder in particular is something that I really have to tell myself over and over again, that it's really not that bad to ask people for help. And because this is something also a friend told me, that if you ask your friends and family for help, you're also giving them the opportunity to show you that they care and love you very much. So that's why that's important. But more than anything else, I need you to remember that you are not alone. It may feel that way sometimes, and desperately so. But know that this is a feeling that will pass. You actually have the love and care and the support of more people than you'll ever know. And some of them are complete strangers at that. So when you're feeling down or hopeless, it's okay to feel that way. Your feelings are valid, but it doesn't mean that everything is as grim as it may seem to be that way at the time. You just need to stay with it for a moment and then just carry on. Honestly, things will get better. So, trigger warning. We all know that life can get really difficult and challenging at times. And we also know that sometimes when we get into a slump, it's also very hard to get out of. I am okay with sharing that for a while, because I was living abroad by myself, and also because I was struggling with trying to be independent and struggling to really achieve everything that I wanted for myself. There was a period where a lot of negative things were just happening one after the other, and I felt very much incapable of rising to the challenge to deal with these things, and I got very depressed. And I felt like every little thing was a struggle, to be honest, and I had to go see a doctor. I had to see a therapist to help me cope with things. And my point being is that, life will throw you these curveballs for sure. But it's important to know that when these curveballs happen, that doesn't mean that the rest of your life will be that way, will be that grim, will be that unhappy, or be that difficult. It's a period of time that we all have to kind of go through, and we just need to remember that we just need to carry on, keep on striving, because this period, this gray period, or this difficulty, well, it really will not last forever. One thing that helped me get through that was remembering that just like a painting, you need a contrast of colors to be able to appreciate the beauty of the painting. I try to remind myself that life is similar, where there has to be different shades, and it's when you go through these moments of difficulty or challenge, that's when you realize that you are resilient, and it actually expands a person's capability to be empathetic and be compassionate towards others. So, while these experiences aren't fun, there are lessons to be learned in there as well. And so it's very important to know that this too shall pass. So this letter isn't just for my past self. It's really for anyone who's ever felt that they needed to have everything figured out to justify being here. or for anyone who feels tired of chasing, but is also afraid to stop. This letter is for anyone who wonders if they're still allowed to change their mind about what they want from this life. So as you listen to this, I hope that you hear these words not only to myself, to my past self, but take it also as a permission for you as well. Permission to breathe, to soften, and to redefine what making it means for you. So over the years and through this podcast and, through my own life, I've met so many people who stayed in Taiwan for reasons that they never expected. Some people stayed for love. Other people stayed because Taiwan gave them safety, emotionally, physically, and mentally. And other people stayed because this place allowed them to slow down for the first time in their lives. While other people stayed, not because it was easy, but because it challenged them in ways that helped them grow and also gave them the opportunity to expand themselves. For me, the reason why I stayed in Taiwan wasn't about a single reason. It's about a lot of small things, actually. The times where Taiwan felt familiar instead of foreign, although that did not come overnight. It grew with time. But more than anything, I think the reason why I stayed in Taiwan is because I came to the realization that here I have the means to live the life that I want, and that success doesn't have to look impressive or for it to be meaningful. Staying became less about chasing a dream and more about choosing a way of living. And that brings us full circle to where we started. When we first started talking over the start of the year, we talked about, the new year and our intentions for 2026. And I have to confess that I'm still figuring out things as I go, and my life isn't perfect. But there are many more moments where I do feel very grateful that I get to do the things that I do and also live the life I have now in a manner that I choose. So if you're listening to this and feeling like your dream is on pause or that your story doesn't sound the way you want it to, I want you to know that you don't owe anyone a perfect narrative. Life is not a straight line. It's a series of adjustments, redefinitions, and quiet decisions to keep going. And sometimes staying is its own kind of courage. And if you choose to stay and to continue and to strive, then that is something that you should be very proud of, because giving up is actually the easier option, right? You can give up on yourself, you can give up on your dream, and you can compromise. But if you choose to stay, then I hope that if you are in a space right now where you feel that you've compromised on a lot of things, I hope that you find the strength and the energy to pause, give yourself some time to recalibrate, and then continue on to whatever you feel gives your life meaning and purpose. So thank you for listening to this episode of Formosa Dream Chasers. If this resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with someone else who might need to hear it too. Until next time, please keep going and keep chasing your dreams. But don't forget to rest along the way.
This is Ching and Cho
and Mary Ann Shoko.
See you guys next week. Bye.